Okay, so this one time I was gonna hang out with these fucking people that I work with, right? So it's this weird ass, like, chubby little black guy with a mustache, and so I was gonna go over to his house, right? So I was just there by myself. So it was me and him, and then his brother, who's like this big, like, buff ass black guy, who's like in the military or some shit. And it was me and him and his brother, and then this other girl that I work with, who's the one that I was telling you about, who keeps getting fucked up and like staying over at my house and shit. So anyways, it was me and him, and then her boyfriend, who lives in Austin, who was up here. This is the only time I've ever met this guy, because he's a faggot, you know, because you saw him on the Facebook that one time. So he was there, and so anyways, everyone had passed out except for me and the one guy whose house it was, like the weird black guy, and then her boyfriend. And the girl, it was funny because the girl was passed out on the couch, like on top of her boyfriend, like there the whole time, but she was asleep, so it was whatever. So anyways, so it was me and the one guy and the one boyfriend, and then we were the only ones there. And so the weird ass fucking black guy, he started telling me these stories, and he was saying the weirdest shit I've ever fucking heard anyone talk about in my life. So anyways, he's telling this story, and he's like, yeah, this one time I was fucking this girl, and honestly, there's nothing that gets me more aroused than knife play. And I was like, knife play? And he's like, yeah, so I was fucking this girl, and she took this huge dagger. Okay, and I have to go back for a second here and say that this guy, he has all these, like real samurai swords, like, that he's found at sword shops and shit. He's got them all over his fucking house. He's got samurai swords, daggers, all kinds of shit. So anyways, he's like, I was fucking this girl, and she took this dagger, and she held it up to my cock, and she acted like she was gonna cut off my cock, and he's like, honestly, that was the hardest I've ever been in my whole life. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, you know, because you can feel your heartbeat in your cock, and that was just the most arousing thing I've ever experienced. And I was just like, all right. And so I look over at the other guy who's there, the other normal-ish guy, and he just looks at me, and we're like making eye contact, like, what the fuck did we get ourselves into? And so we just, like, back at this guy, and he goes back telling this story about how this girl's got this knife to his cock and everything, and how she's gonna cut it off. And so he's in the middle of telling this fucking story, and I look at this guy, and he looks at me, and we're making eye contact, and we're just like, we don't say anything, but we say it with our eyes. We're like, dude, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And so I look back over at him, and he's fucking passed out in the middle of a sentence. He was telling the story, and I look back over at him, and he's just like, and so I'm just like, so I guess we leave now? But he couldn't fucking leave because his girlfriend was passed out on top of him. And I was just like, dude, I hate to do this to you. I really am sorry to throw you to the fucking sharks like this, to fucking leave you here, but I have to leave. I was like, I cannot fucking handle this. I'm going to leave. Good luck, man. The end.